All right. I hope my voice is audible.
Yeah.
All right. Good. I'm gonna make you a presenter. You could switch on your camera.
Cool.
That's possible. Check if
Yep,
you could.
yep, yep. Let me try. Yep.
Yep. Good to see you.
Yeah. So I hear your voice after a long time back again, so it's good. That's a good thing.
All right. So let's start the session. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Good morning. Um, my name is Ashok Veda. I'll be the host, and we have Farzad Mir, who is an alumni of DataMites, a successful data scientist. And here we are here to know his insights, his experience, and some good inspirational words for aspiring data scientist.
Yeah.
I'll give it over to you, Farzad.
Let me actually give my brief introduction. So I am from Srinagar, and I did take part in DataMites, which was a wonderful experience for me. And currently, I am the lead data analyst at Teleperformance, and I have 5 data analysts currently under me. Before that, I was data scientist in another company, and before that I was the data analyst there. So the thing that in data science you have to switch between the teams as well, based on the processes that you have in company. And also about my education, I'm a computer science engineer, and right after I finished my engineering I landed into the jobs in the field of data science. Going even further, what I would say is all throughout my computer science engineering, I was extremely passionate and dedicated about data science, and all I wanted to do from the get-go was data science. But I also understood that I really need the skills of a computer science engineer, because I will definitely have to solve a lot of problems moving ahead. So that kind of set a good base in programming for me, being a computer science graduate. And then within my engineering, I really focused in data science. So that kind of helped me along. That's it.
All right. Um, that's very good. So, I would like to know about, you already told that you are a computer science engineer, which I
Yep.
assume that you had a good programming background,
Yeah.
right? So, I'd like to know your learning journey first. How was your other parts like statistics and machine learning? How do you find?
Yeah, the thing is, I actually wanted to share this. The main part of me coming to this session was because me being part of DataMites, and then not transitioning, I actually got the field that I want, which was kind of a dream come true just after finishing my engineering. There are a lot of students that come up to me every single day, and they tell me, how did you start, or how did you become, or if there's anything that I can help them with, and how my journey was. So this kind of gives me a platform right here from DataMites, which is the best thing that I could ever imagine, and giving back to the community, right? Um, so I would really love to share my journey. I'll start by how I learned data science step by step. So in my engineering, when I was doing my engineering, I first focused on my programming skills. That would be the core programming languages. That would be C++ and C. So once I got that fundamental covered, I knew that for data science, I kind of already planned my all my 8 semesters, and I kind of split the roadmaps that I used to see that people would share on YouTube and everywhere. So I kind of had an idea of what I want to achieve by every single semester, being an engineer as well, and also if I have to prepare for a data analyst or a data scientist role. I was looking for a data scientist role from the beginning, so I planned my every single semester like that. I started with really basic stuff because I knew that I cannot jump right into machine learning. It would be a really hectic part, which I will tell you in a while what happened with me. So the thing is, I started with programming, understanding what programming is, understanding C and C++. once I got that covered and I was able to understand object-oriented programming and solving problems with that, Python just came really easy to me, um, which kind of set a tone for me in programming. But then data science and programming, you need to have those skills in Python to work with data. Then I started to learn pandas and how to manipulate with pandas, which wasn't really easy because I was trying to learn that on my own. That would be my second semester or my third semester. After that, I focused in my fourth semester. Actually, what I did is, because I was so into this, I actually did one internship before in my engineering, and it was something that I discussed with my college because I was like, this is something that I really want to do. So I jumped into machine learning, and I was based in Chandigarh at that time, and uh, there was a company in Mohali, which I did my first internship in machine learning, but that was purely machine learning. They would give me data sets that we had to train some models on, and then we had to submit them to clients, and there were other people there that used to support me. But that kind of set a base for me there. But I really didn't understand the core behind how the data is coming, because we used to get clean data set, which doesn't happen. And that fourth semester led me to think that I need to understand how they are cleaning the data, how everything is connected, because the only part that I was doing in that internship was building the real models and then testing them, and if anything was failing, then redoing it all over again, tweaking the pipelines and everything, and seeing if that would work, and then if that could be deployed for the customer. That internship kind of gave me a wake-up call that I really need to go in depth and understand every single model mathematically and every single thing before machine learning. So what people I feel like the kind of mess is that they just come into data science and then start directly from machine learning. It is good if you want to do that just for a data science role, but then it's going to um, give you headaches if you do not know how that data was processed or cleaned, and what every single variable means, and how that was collected and everything. So that kind of was something that I really worked on, understanding the details of the nitty-gritty things about data and everything. And when I reached the end of my engineering, that is when I really did a thorough research about where I should do my internship next. So um, I got I got to see DataMites. One of my friends suggested, and I looked at the reviews, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do my internship there at DataMites, which was the most best experience that I had, because I remember when I joined DataMites, the first session was with you, and I was really because I was based out. I did the online sessions with, and for me, the best thing was that I kind of knew a lot of stuff, but then I didn't really know the nitty gritty details about the models that we were going to use, and having them explained by someone in detail was the best thing for me, and that helped me in my career. Even after that, because I had those notes and everything. People sometimes don't understand that you really need the mathematics behind every single model to understand what's happening, and if everything is failing, why that is failing, why some model might be best suitable for some problem, why that might not be. And that is where my core kind of developed. And also because in DataMites, with the trainer that I had at that time, um, I kind of talked with them, and I had a lot of sessions with him. Even after we finished the sessions, I had a lot of questions about some things, and he would really clear those up. One thing that I discussed with him is that there are other projects that I'm already doing, and because I already came from an approach of knowing what data science and everything is, and already had worked with Power BI and everything. So I was telling him that I want to integrate. So if I'm doing any machine learning project or anything, I need to do it from scratch. So I I'll go and find a source exactly and understand how the data is calculated and everything, or even recorded. Uh, Maybe some team has a CRM system or something which they are using to collect data, and how they are using what steps. So I'm going to go exactly to the main stuff, and then do the pre-processing and everything, the analytics part that I have to do, and then join that with the machine learning that I'm going to learn. So that helped me in a lot of ways, because the first job that I landed into was a data analyst role, and my interview basically went like this. So they had a problem that they wanted to solve, and I told them I have some things that I can share with you, which will help me to solve that problem. And I shared that concept with them, and they liked that concept so much that within some days they were like, okay, we want you in this company. And I joined that company, and I was able to deliver more than what they expected. And
Which year was it? Was
it was 2022. It
oh,
was
a couple of years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
And in 2022, I did that implementation, being the head of the data analyst team there. And the second things that they started to ask was if you can do machine learning. And I was like, yeah, I can, because I already do know data science and everything. So they promoted me to the role of a data scientist in their team, which was good. But the responsibilities with being a data scientist were huge, because now sometimes they would request you to do the part of a data analyst, but then you had to switch and develop models as well, which does happen quite a lot, even in my role today. But
Okay.
yep, kind of summarizes it.
Okay. Wonderful. I have one interesting part. You said you have notes and you still go back to the mathematics, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I I remember. I mean, when you hit the wall, the model is not improving. Then
yeah,
you really need the basics. I mean, you can't just drag and drop and do some hyperparameter tuning to get it working. But then you really have to understand how the model works.
yeah,
And if
yeah.
you understand how the model works, you understand the importance of feature engineering, and then the
Yep,
statistics and maths comes into picture. Then you actually make
exactly.
a difference in your model. I remember from I've been doing this for 2017, 2016. Those days, the emphasis on mathematics was huge, right? I
Yeah,
remember teaching derivation and integration to the students. even
yeah.
I even I didn't remember it. I have refreshed my mathematics skills I'm teaching. But nowadays, none of my team members actually use it. What is your experience? Are you guys still doing some mathematics related things in your workflow or
You know,
project?
right. Right now, I'm not doing any mathematics, specifically mathematical modeling right now to build new models or anything. But what I would say is that whenever uh, some model might not be fit for the problem, or I'm not achieving the exact accuracy I want, and even if I achieve the good accuracies, I need to test if that's working well with the real world
Right.
data, right? So that kind of becomes a challenge at that time. So what I did with my experience was, I had this rule: uh, if for a week I was caught in some kind of a machine learning problem, what I would do is, I had this habit of reading a book every single week. So in 1 week, I would read a book on machine learning and everything. And in those, I would get refresh about the nitty gritty details about how basically, because you can sometimes read something and then forget, but that would be kind of a refreshing thing for me. Right now, what actually I'm doing is, it's on a bigger scale. Right now, my problem currently that we had facing is that, you know the data sources are messy. There are a lot of data sources that you need to integrate before you can do any modeling, and that is that
Java.
that um, the aim of my team at this time was that we need analytics and machine learning. That is what we were kind of asked to do. But for that, we need to understand that you have to have data in a certain way. So if you have sources 20 different sources that you're collecting data from, and then you have to put it together. You need to somehow create a data model for that you have a unified data model that you're going to use for analysis, reporting, and everything. And then on top of that, what the industry requires, that you do an automation of every single thing. So you have to do automation of all the processes, so you're not manually doing that again. So that is one thing that my team and me have been really focusing on. And after it literally took us 7 months to because there were a lot of projects that we had to do,
Yeah.
find the best possible way we could integrate and come up with a data model. And we did come up with one scheme that we had a lot of discussions about what would be, and then we standardized it. After it was approved and everything, we checked every single thing. We are now going to move into machine learning,
Yeah.
because people do forget that for machine learning, data is messy. You need to
And
get it in some form that it should be,
right.
it can be used for machine learning.
I can relate my experience. All the projects we do, typically 60-70% of the time we spend on um, uh, data preparation, not
Yeah.
really data preparation, actually working with the sources, because there are multiple systems, some are different systems altogether, legacy, and then you get into a unified place and you have to deal with the data privacy, as well as even more challenging thing is that the pipelines, right?
Phew.
So if one source fails and then you don't get the proper data, so we have to
Yeah.
think of all the exceptions that could happen in the data streaming, and thereby it takes 7 to 8 months, and then machine learning is actually the easy part, right?
Yeah.
Then you get
Yeah.
a comfortable, okay, you have data now, and then machine learning becomes relatively easy. Very
Exactly.
good. So, fortunately, I'm not getting into the projects
Oh.
left now. I'm happy
Yeah.
because I was doing it 4 years, 3, 4 years before, but now I'm at least on the high level.
I
Uh,
can understand. I can
I
understand.
really, but it was really, I mean, especially you don't get support from the different parts of the client or your own businesses. I mean, even own business, different departments act like a client sometimes. I mean, they don't,
Yeah.
they don't support you, right? They don't really
Yeah.
care because they don't believe in the new system. That's the change resistance thing. Good.
Yeah.
So most of the people in this call is usually we don't want to scare them. So they are the people who are about to start their career, or they wanted to switch into data science or data analyst, right?
Yeah.
What do you think there? In general, one is that skill set side, and other one is there are different areas, right? So you fortunately you were in analytics and you also done the data science and machine learning. You also mentioned Tableau in the early, prior experience. So
Yep.
you have seen multiple facets of the data science, data professional roles, right? Could you tell what kind of role fit to what kind of people and what kind of skills you
Hmm.
needed? Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting, actually. So for me, why I love this job, when one thing is because I love working with data. The second thing is I love problem solving. So when every single challenge that my project puts up is something that I kind of dream for, because I'm like, okay, give me a challenge, then I'm gonna solve it, and kind of gives me a satisfaction. And I solve it using data science that I already have the skill sets with. So for people, what kind of people should be looking into what kind of roles? I would say if a person is more focused on bringing out details about what happened, let's say someone wants you to analyze what happened with data that they have, and they want to look into insights, they want to report from that, and they're not mostly looking into modeling or forecasting stuff, or training a model based on the inputs that you're receiving, and based on that doing some prediction. uh, if you're not looking into that, then I would say being a data analyst is one of the best things you can do. For because the thing is, being even a data analyst, because I have data analysts who are pure data analysts, they don't possess machine learning skills yet. um, most of them. The thing is, why they love being a data analyst is because they love reporting stuff, they love bringing actual insights from the data, right? And they really do not care that much about, okay, you're going to now create a machine learning model that's going to predict if some case or some sale pitch lands, and if that's going to be a win-win situation for us, and what's the probability for that. But for people who are good in statistics is well based for everyone who want to, but who are really into visualizing stuff, who are more into Power BI kind of realm, have already experience with Power BI and Tableau, or even for me, for the last 6 months, I haven't even touched Power BI and Tableau. I have been working in Google environment specifically for Google specific projects. Um, the thing is, for that matter, if someone is really well versed with Looker Studio, that would be best thing. Someone is well versed with curing and stuff. Curing will help you everywhere, but that is specific for some people that want to do just data analysis, bring out, see the trends and stuff, explain to the client why that happened, what would be the reason and everything, because that happens. A client can say, okay, I had a dip in some metric, can you explain to me why that happened? Or you see some gradual decrease in some metric, then you have to find out what exactly happened. That if you love those kind of challenges, that is good for you. But if there is someone who's not more into dealing with that and just wants to do the forecasting part, wants to do the AI part, then he should specifically then first he should have at least some knowledge of how the data works in the background, because I found it really hard. I learned it the bad way. I had to do it then again and understand every single thing again, even to the main systems that were collecting and how they're collecting, if they're collecting it wrongly or not. So anyone who is looking into machine learning should at least first get some knowledge of data analytics process, and should sit with some people and see what they actually are trying to do. That would help them being a machine learning engineer, or a data scientist, that if they have a data science team in their company. And in being a data scientist, it's going to be a challenging role. They are going to ask you for computer vision problems. They are going to ask you for natural language processing problems. They are going to ask you for typical modeling of a small data set, right? They are going to ask you for every single thing. And if you're lucky enough, you might have people working on different sets, but I don't see that happening yet with me. If there's a client request based on computer vision, you have to satisfy that with computer vision, right? You have to do that, and you should be well versed with that. So if you're interested in that, go right away, because it's a huge field in data science within data science itself. And one of the best things was in the journey for DataMites was I got to learn a lot of things in NLP and everything. And I also, because I had this coordination with the trainer that I had, and I was like integrating the data analytics part there within the projects that I was doing. So that helped me with the dual role that I was playing in different companies.
Yep. So I can clearly see that you love data analysts than data scientists.
No, I actually love machine learning more, but because
the projects are challenging.
projects are challenging. The thing is, people will give you any kind of data, or they will come up with any kind of problem and tell you, okay, we need a model for this. But then you have to start asking, where is the data? Who is collecting the data? We might need more variables. You're just having 10 variables. It's not enough. I cannot generate a lot of prediction power from them, right?
Right.
Sometimes, yep.
If I have to summarize what you're saying, data analysts work is more predictable, and your objectives are much clear. So
Yeah.
that usually you create an insightful report or a dashboard which people can see the business, understand the business, take decisions. So and also the value more because it is an immediate benefit, right? They look at your dashboards and it really matters. And they also work with you to make this dashboard better or this report better.
Yeah.
So to summarize what Farjad said is that data analysts are for the people who wants more predictable role and not too much to do with machine learning. Of course, data analysts also have a machine learning knowledge, but they don't really do a lot of machine learning models. On the other side, data scientists get all kind of challenges which the business itself don't understand. I mean, they just throw it on you and ask you, you are the data scientist, figure it out.
Yeah.
And, and that becomes very challenging. There are some people who love it, and there are some matured clients and companies who have a standard process. I'm not saying everyone will do that, but to some extent, data science is challenging. So if you like challenging work, and of course, the growth will be better,
Mm,
right? And you do
yeah.
machine learning and AI stuff, it's easy to transition to an AI engineer role from being a data scientist. Then those people can pursue data scientist.
Yeah.
Very good answer. Thank you. All right. So let me talk about, I mean, a lot of people ask me this. I'm going to ask you the same question. People are scared about these generative AI tools, which can actually do a lot of data analyst stuff, right? You could take a chat GPT, they have a module
Mhm.
called data analyst, right? And I've been trying that just for the sake of trying it. I'm not very impressed. I think that that's just a basic, but a lot of people think that it will take away their jobs, right? So you put a hard work of 5, 6 months and you learn data analyst, and then you see that the machine is doing your work. That's a common perception. What do you think about it?
Ah, come on. It's not going to take that. I've learned that because I've had these discussions, because me being there. I was actually in one of the models that I had to generate for one of the companies. So there was a guy that was actually working for that process, but it was a hectic process for that person as well. And I created a machine learning model after at least 3 months of understanding everything. First, I didn't understand anything. I had to sit with the clients, I had to sit with the people who were implementing stuff, and I was able to create a model for that, which was really nice. It was giving us accuracy of about 95%, but that was feasible with what my manager wanted at that time. It
Yeah.
kind of took the role of that guy that I had to sit manually and do the tiresome process. But then what it did is that guy had to create the reports and everything based on that. So now the tiring process was eliminated, and he had to do the reporting part. Coming about if it's going to take a role of a data analyst or a role of a data scientist, if I would say never is a machine going to understand what exactly did the people who were collecting the data do, and what more that they need to do, and what should be the things that they should consider while doing it, because it's everything is live. It's not something that you can at sometimes uh, you want to prevent some things being a data analyst, but you cannot at sometimes that's real life, and then you have to set up some exceptions for those use cases, right? So me being a data scientist, I had to go if I have to do a prediction, what do I need for that? What do I need for that? So I would go back until I would see a problem in the collection part of the data, right?
So
So a machine is not going to come and check every single thing. If you had this, and then what were the guys doing? If the guy was not seeing something, or it's a challenging thing. I don't
true.
think it's going to take uh, away the roles. What I feel like is that more roles will open, and these generative AI, they are limited to up to something that they are already trained on past data, right? So if anything new comes up, they're gonna fail.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. If you're
I,
gonna try with something new, because we're always like bringing a lot of new things into the market, if they're as better as we can be, right?
yeah. Okay. So you have made some extreme statements. Um, some of my projects are basically based on the other side of your statements, right? So I will, I won't say that Gen AI um, does not perform for the new data, but what you said to to vast extent is correct because you require a business and human sense, right? As you said, you cannot go back, do the root cause analysis, and find the problem at the source. That's not going to be done. And if you want to do it manually, again, it's more human inputs.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but some parts, for example, if you have a data which is well structured, sales data, you give it to the Gen AI, Chat GPT, whatever, and then what you could ask is, you know what, show me the last quarter sales, right? What's your profit? What's a region-wise sales, right? Do you find a decrease in certain products, like top 5 products, which was underperforming in last quarter? These kind of simple, straightforward questions, your Gen AI or ChatGPT can simply answer, given that you have data in a very structured format. As Farzad, you said, the challenge is to get this data in the right format, right? That is
Yeah.
not being done by Gen AI. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
I don't think any.
adding to that point, I actually tried that once in my projects because it, I worked in a startup. It was a startup at that time, and it was challenging, really challenging for me at that time. And in Power BI, it had this new feature where it would give you insights from the data that you had, right? But those insights, when I saw, I was like, really, are you saying that these insights are any meaningful? They were using some model in the background, but I really didn't like what kind of insights. It didn't even make sense. I can say that some of them were really nice, did give me some really new looks into the data and how I could present it. But for the 95% of the time, it was something that the model was trained on, and it was taking the metrics and kind of starting to see a relationship. But
We can call this Gen AI as in a baby infant stage right now, but at some point
yeah,
in
at
time,
some
yeah,
point, it's
it
gonna.
will be a good tool. I still don't believe that it can replace humans. Of course, a 4-member team can become 3-member team, right? And some of the basic level tasks can be taken by the Gen AI, and it is universally accepted. This is how
Yeah.
the augmentation will be done. Okay. So to summarize, I both of us agree that Gen AI or any of this AI new stuff are not going to be replacing at least data scientists, data analyst roles. It may have.
Well, coming from the real world, I was thinking about the same thing. The companies that we mostly have are not the big tech companies, right? They're not huge, and how much they are going to invest in a training cost for a Gen AI model that has to be super intelligent, that also depends, right? So is the company willing to pay for that? That's another challenge, right? Because training a model, it takes a lot of time at sometimes, and if it's an advanced model, it might take even more. Then you might need to go on the cloud and do the training there, but the cloud comes with its cost as well, right? So then that that's kind of what I feel like. It might.
Still is a lot of time in the picture. I just
Yeah.
posted a blog. It's not a blog, from a study from MIT researchers, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, which actually talks about it. It says that they found about 1,000 plus visual AI tasks, which can be done by AI, which is currently done by humans, like inspecting the quality of the certain products and stuff like that. They found that all of it, right? Uh, AI implementation is much more expensive than the
Yeah.
humans, even in Europe and US, right? Forget about India, right? So AI is expensive than the salaries of the European and US workers. So they concluded that replacement of even those kind of jobs is not going to happen in near future. So that's
Yeah.
just to add on to what we are talking about. Very good. So very insightful discussion. So what do you think aspiring people should do? I mean, we already confirmed that there is no problem with the jobs, and there'll be a lot of jobs for them, given that they have done their
Ah,
studies.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I would like to share something interesting because people kind of don't understand how you get to a data analyst role, or a data scientist role. The thing is, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not something that you're going. Even when I was in DataMites, I was already working really, really hard, and even before, I was every single concept that they were teaching, I was putting that into practice the exact same day. And one of the things that I kind of knew, because I knew that it's a fast-paced world and I have to be with it and I have to compete with it. And there are people who are already working more than me. Let's say I worked 8 hours a day. I spend 12 hours a day. Someone is working 13 hours a day. So how can I beat that? Right? And my entire days would be focused on uh, learning every single thing I could and developing from even the basic things that I had to do. I would do regular expressions. I would do people don't understand regular expressions, how important they can be. Uh, Excel, people just undervalue Excel or Google Sheets or formulas. You know, the vast amount of data gets processed in Excel, and every single company, I'm sure 100% or at least 99% of the companies are going to ask you about Excel. And
True.
if you can handle huge data sets and compress them and create reports from that, that's one thing. And then you have to take the same data that you're using for reporting and everything, then you can if you can create models based on that, right?
That's right.
Sometimes, right? And also sometimes what can happen is you may not even have a data science problem for some time, and you what you actually have to do is the data analyst role. So you should be prepared for both of them. And within that, then there's another thing. In data science you have multiple things that the project may ask you. You might have to know computer vision and NLP. You might have to know the um, sometimes what even you have to do is that you have to do all the implementations and everything, collect the root causes or the solutions or the results from your analysis, and then based on that create a machine learning model. It can be a complicated process, but you should be ready for that. Are you putting that much effort? Are you not? So it's a question to you. In Power BI, simple Power BI is not going to do it for you. You
Right.
have to understand DAX, right? You go and spend some time with DAX. If a person specific from someone said, how is the future of data science like? It's amazing. It's amazing. Just get the right tools. Just know if you can solve some problems with data and data science. If you know, if you can solve problems with data science tools, you can do it. And I don't care about whatever tool you use. If you can solve problems for any company, they're going to hire you. That's what I do. If you solve problems, you get hired. If you cannot solve problems, company doesn't need you.
That's a very good point, actually. So it's not about whether you know Python or machine learning or how many tools you know. It's about can you solve the problems, and it's
Yeah.
very well put. If you cannot analyze the data using a simple Excel or Google spreadsheet, you can't really call yourself as a data
Mm,
scientist, right?
yeah.
It's these are just tools, and what's more important is your knowledge about solving the problem by using the data. It's more business knowledge, your statistical and data knowledge, and your techniques you use to extract insights from the
Yeah.
data.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think we had a good discussion. So I would open up for the question and answers Q&A. I think we've already answered
Sure.
one.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, all the people who are attending from Zoom, I think about 35, 40, like 25, they can put it on the Zoom itself.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn, I would request DataMites team to copy paste from LinkedIn.
I can actually see there are three in Q&A. Sir, as starting a career in data analytics, 319. I don't know what the question there is. Sir, as beginner, as data analyst, which kind of opportunities we should target and expect? Beginner as a data analyst, what you should be expecting. First thing you should be expecting that they ask you about Excel. Being a data analyst, you should have super Excel knowledge. I'm not worried about if you do not know VBA or macros, right? I'm not expecting you. But if you know Python and Excel, I know that you can solve a lot of problems for me. And then if you can support that with relevant tasks or projects that you have done, gives me hope that you can do. And one thing that you should try, you should apply for interviews. I've got rejected in a lot as well when I started. But the thing is, if if you if you're able to propose a solution to a problem, I think you will be hired. You just don't worry about the things. And sometimes some people might ask that, okay, if you know the syntax and everything and all the things, but but the person, I think the manager and stuff, you should actually ask them, what's the problem at hand? What am I going to solve? uh, that is something that you can ask from your side. That's what I did. And I was asking them, okay, all right, what's the problem in hand? And I can tell you if I can solve that or not. And then I would support that with the projects and experience that I already had. And then I would tell them in detail, okay, you told me that. I would have a discussion in the interview about telling them how to solve that process and how we can get the insights that they want, right?
Perfect.
Yep.
So that's nicely put. So it's not about answering every single question. Like there is no perfect answers, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
about understanding the problem. In fact, taking a step back, asking more questions, and trying to prove that you rightly said it is not. They're not looking at the answer to a question. Like it's not like solving the problem. It's the approach which matters. And if you could actually ask more questions, understand the context, understanding the problem itself, that's already great. And they, other things they could even train internally once you join. They'll be happy to hire.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, we do that. You are hiring a team, so what we look at is learning attitude, a good attitude first of all.
Yeah.
Attitude as a person, and then your learning skills, a learning attitude, and then good foundation and analytical thinking, right?
Yeah.
It's okay if you're not very good at Python or any of the advanced tools. That's always can be learned. But if you have a good basics, if you're curious to solve the problem, you have a good learning attitude and a good attitude. Nowadays, this attitude as a person has become really important because they are
Mm.
collaborative teams, right?
Yeah.
So they should have more open-minded, team working person. So that's more important.
Yep. Yep. That's well put. And then we have you seem to have good exposure to C, C++ from your college days. What are your views about someone using Python as a first language and no exposure to C++? It's cool. The thing is, you should be able to understand what exactly a programming language is and what it's trying to do. Um, in the core, if you just do a simple crash course on YouTube what a programming language is, basically you'll get the hang of it. But then you have to understand what data types is, which datamites, if you're joining from datamites or anything, they'll cover it extensively. It takes at least 1 month if you want to complete your Python, which is really good. You'll learn from the basics that you need for in Python for data science. So you don't actually need to go into C, C++. It is because I came from an engineering background, and that too from computer science engineering. That was a part that I kind of really loved. I loved programming from the very beginning. So even in my 11th and 12th grade, I was just more into programming and stuff. But
It's not
it then
required. So
it's not, yeah.
basic programming language. Actually, second question
Just
is
understand what you're doing with that.
that's important. Bonu Prakash also has the same question. He says, "How proficient in programming will help in real time, especially in data science field?"
In data science field,
Yeah,
um, it's in data science field in real time. Programming language is your backbone. Python is going to be your backbone. For me, anything machine learning was Python. So you should be able to know a lot of libraries involved within every single thing. So for natural language processing, know that there are different libraries, they have a different set of frameworks, and they have a different the syntax is not different. It's not that hugely different from but expect that there are some they're not exactly the same thing, but if you try, if you practice, you'll understand how to work with CNNs. You'll also understand how to work with NLP toolkit and everything that you need. But what I would say is, don't focus more on learning a programming language like that. What I would say is, learn to solve a problem using a programming language. And if you're a data scientist, learn to solve a data science problem from whatever tool you can do. And also, one thing you should learn, if you have a tool, any tool can solve any data science problem that you want. Maybe sometimes you can do modeling in Excel right now as fast as you can do that in Python. But the thing is, if you can take a problem, you can do that with every single tool. If you know the tools really well, you can do it with any tool. You can do it with Python. If you have to process data, you can do the processing with Python. You can do the processing um, with Excel. You can do that with Looker Studio or anything, any tool that you have. You can do it manually as well if you want to, but you have to understand what the problem is. Solve that problem.
Right. So to just summarize, you don't have to be a programmer kind of knowledge in programming. You need to use Python as a tool to solve a data science problem,
Exactly.
as
Exactly.
it says. And to just add to that, even if you're a beginner with no programming background, it takes a month or maybe 6 weeks to get there. And then, of course, whenever you do new projects, you keep on learning, new libraries, new methods, new techniques. And then over a period of time, let's say 8 months to 1 year, you become comfortable using Python to solve a data science problem. So you do not need to be a developer to become a data scientist, but you need to learn Python as required for data science model. I'll take one question from the chat box. This is from LinkedIn, from
Okay.
Deeptimaya Swain from LinkedIn. So the question is it difficult to make a career as a data scientist or data analyst having a non-technical background? It's exactly the same question again.
No,
So
no, guys, it's not difficult. It's just you're willing to solve a problem. It's a data science problem. You have the data science tools, but understand it, problem solving is everything for you. Being working for anything, you can transition. The technical stuff will come as you join some team, and you will get more technical. You will get more experience. You will see people. The thing is, I have a senior. He has been working 18 years above, and sometimes we discuss over some things, and when I see what he did to solve a problem, I get like amazed. Okay, all right, this guy is a genius. And sometimes I would come up with something because of my experience, and he would say, all right, that was wonderful. How and those things you will learn. But the thing is, it's a problem at hand that you have to really focus on. And then transitioning is just, you'll get to know about the tools and things, master them to intermediate level at least to begin with, but then really do the challenging part, that is solving problems. uh, and
cool.
do a lot of projects. If you
That's
are
important.
able to understand, go to Kaggle. When I kind of remembered now. Go to Kaggle, and there are a lot of projects and people are already doing, and don't see only one, see 10 bunch of different projects on the same thing, and see how people are solving and trying to get to what they want. There's always a problem statement, and then try to implement your own thing. You'll learn a lot, and read a lot of books. you know uh,
Books are important.
Books are
It gives
important.
a sort of
Someone somewhere said that they how important is mathematics. Contribute mathematics. I don't see that anywhere, but still, mathematics is huge. Mathematics is a, if you're good at, the thing is, I love mathematics, and I'm still for fun, or because I have some little cousins around, and I take their mathematics books, and I start solving the book just for fun. And it's something that people kind of know me for, is that I would love to do a lot of maths problem. But that kind of is the mentality that I have for the problem solving, which quite well helps me in my role.
So just to close the
Yep.
Deepti Swain's question, you need to have analytical skills and attitude, but not really a technical background. So if you're a non-technical, you can still make into a data scientist, given that you have a passion towards problem solving.
I have on that, the thing is, I have three data analysts somewhere, um, which are from non-technical backgrounds, and
Okay.
they're
So
doing amazing under me. And the thing is, they did get experience in everything. I already have that in front of me. I'm the only guy that has a computer science background, but that does give a little bit edge. That actually does give a little bit edge. I can see that when it comes to more programming and stuff. But the thing is, they're able to do it sometimes even better than on some problem, because they're exposed to solving a lot of they understood. It's not about learning the syntax, it's not about getting stuck with the formulas, it's about getting to the problem, if you can solve it or not.
Wonderful. Moving to the next one, also from LinkedIn, from Vaibhav Tayade. The question is, what's a better direct enter as an ML engineer or start with analyst? So the question
ML
is,
engineer.
you want to enter
ML
as an engineer? Okay.
ML engineer, what I
Oh,
would say is, ML engineer, I think, are way ahead of data scientists, or for me, because, or side by side. I don't think they kind of work together. They will create models, and we use those models, right?
no.
We would have ML engineers creating different um, intuitions based on mathematics. They create a model, then we take that model, we use that model. It's going to be super hard for you to go directly into ML engineer and know nothing about analytics. You can do it if you're really good with, but you will still have to learn a lot of mathematics. You should be good at your differential equations. You should be good with integration, your derivatives, and then your statistics should be top notch, and your programming level should be C, C++, or something within those languages, because models don't get created in Python, because
They
some
do
do,
it
but
in slow model.
yeah,
So the definition of ML engineer is they are the people who actually rewrite the data science model, because data scientists are not really developers. They do
yeah,
more very unstructured kind of programming, and
yeah.
ML engineers are the one who rewrite it in a production level and deploy it. So to answer your question simply, as you said, analyst is actually better to enter, and you
Mm.
can learn a lot of stuff, because all of these things are really important even if you become a data scientist or ML engineer. So answer is yes, analyst is a better to enter if you are not from technical background, right?
Yeah, you can even switch from data analyst to data scientist if you have the relevant experience then, right? But
Correct.
it's going to be better for you if you're a data analyst then switch to data scientist. I feel like in my term, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, come from your first-hand experience. Good. So more questions over here from Exansh. How much does maths knowledge help or contribute to understand DS? Uh,
Uh,
I think we have answered this many times. Mathematics helps you understanding how an algorithm works, but nowadays data scientists are more applied ML, so they're not really creating anything. And understanding how a hyperparameter works is good enough for your practical purpose. But if you have a bit of mathematics background, you could appreciate how the model works, but it is not really
needed.
mandatory.
Yeah, but I kind of am in between in between that dilemma, because I for me it for me, if I didn't see, let's say, how the chain rule was applied, and what would be every single detail about that, it would have been a little bit hard for me. I really, I did it was I was always studying about mathematics of the models. It was once I would understand that, and I would move to the real implementation and seeing that in the code. And in the code, you're not doing the mathematics there. It's already a model that you import from some library. Pretty
So
easy. You give
you
the
want to do a tough stuff, then you have to learn mathematics. If you want to just get the job done, you don't need much of mathematics. But
yeah,
you don't enjoy your work. If you know mathematics well, you know exactly what's happening behind the hood. So
yeah.
that actually helps you. Uh, okay.
And I see from Econs there's a question you mentioned about internship in Mohali. Can you share the general about the job landscape in Chandigarh Mohali? I love Chandigarh Mohali. I've been there for eight years now, so I love it. It's good, but it's um, I would say one thing, that getting a data science or a data analyst role there can be difficult at sometimes. But I have a lot of companies that want me to work, but I'm like, I'm already working in a really nice place, so I don't want to. If I can get those opportunities, you definitely can. It just depends on you if you have the relevant experience to meet those companies there. It's a really nice place for at least for me. um, how about entry as a data engineer? Guys, you have to understand that the role of data science is kind of not clear within even the companies, right? They might be looking for a data engineer, they have the description of the data engineer and everything. What you actually are doing are data engineering plus data analytics, right? So uh, kind of have knowledge of every single thing, so you should be really good with your pipelines and everything. uh, that's kind of it. Have knowledge of every single thing, because it's a crazy landscape right there. People are not kind of aware right now what exactly a specific role of a data analyst is. Sometimes it's business intelligence analyst, but they actually want a data analyst. So keep applying and see if your requirement is met.
Right. It's kind of like overlapping.
Yeah.
Business intelligence, visual analytics, data analysts all overlapping. To answer your question, entry as a data engineer is actually a little bit more technical than I would say data scientist, because you essentially deal with the data sources.
Mm,
Remember,
mm,
Farjad actually told in the beginning that he hates
it's a
working
mess.
with data
It's a
scientists.
mess.
So, but on the positive side, there is a lot of opportunities for data engineer because they do a really the core based work. You
Yeah.
should have a very good knowledge about databases, both SQL and document DBs. You should have a good ETL tools like extract, transform, load tools. And then you should have a good knowledge on data pipeline building in cloud platforms, as well as using the open source tools, including Apache Airflow for data orchestration, data pipeline orchestration. So, in summary, data engineer is it's more technical and it has a vast opportunities, and
Yeah.
it's also pretty stable. Once you get hang of the data engineering tools and you perform as a data engineer, you have more streamlined job role and you are very indispensable for the companies, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you're more important, right? So
Yeah.
and there's a lot of demand and it's tough, and I agree.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But the thing is, if you, for me, I kind of at sometimes I have to do the data engineering part in my projects, because that's the requirement, and you should know that part if you're a data analyst or a data scientist, that your job roles within one role can be switched based on the project. So expect that. Don't be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. So that can happen. Be ready for that.
Okay, cool. So there are a lot of questions. I think some of the things I answered, so I'm skipping down. I have
Cool.
a one anonymous question asking, as a beginner, can we target foreign opportunities data analyst? Absolutely. Foreign opportunities or domestic opportunities really depends on your ambition. If you like to work in some country, world is kind of flat now, right? If you want to work in, I don't know, Europe or Italy, I don't know, Italy doesn't have much of data analyst jobs. But if you want to do that, it's a matter of, finding the right channel, either directly
Yeah.
approach employers or finding an MS and then go there and apply for visa. I think it doesn't matter whether you're beginner or experienced. If you want to work in other countries, I think now world is more easy to do that when compared to 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. The one thing I would share is, guys, if you're ready, if you're confident about your skill sets, you should start doing a lot of interviews from wherever they are, because as soon as you gain industry level exposure, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. You'll really understand what they want, and it's a lot of learning for you. But try to get as soon as you can get into some job role. And the thing about the placement assistant team at Datamites, they were amazing when I was there in Datamites. Uh, and I would get opportunities, but most of them, those opportunities were from the southern India side. But because I come from the true north, so from Srinagar, I actually did not. But I really liked um, how easily my communication with the PAT teams was, and how regularly they were giving me the opportunities, which for me until now is the best placement assistant team that I saw, and all of those were regarding data science. That is one thing. All the job opportunities are regarding data science. Uh, if you're in a college, you will get placement assistants, but it's not going to be only data science, right?
Just a job
When
you are.
it's any job, software engineering job, mostly 90%, 99% of the times,
True.
testers and stuff. But
I I'm glad.
PATs,
I'm glad that you have such a good feedback about Pat, and they're doing a fantastic job. So I say I'll convey this to them. I think they're
yeah,
watching. Thank
exactly. If they're watching, then this is because I really felt that they did whatever they could to help me get placed, and it was really nice. It was really nice. It was just because as soon as I finished my engineering, I did this interview and I got landed into that job, and it was near it
your
was in
place.
yeah, near my place, so that
Yeah,
was
like,
the only reason I
correct.
joined. Yep.
I, yeah. Okay. So I think we have taken. Now I think it's the longest alumni talk I've done, which is very nice. It's a very good interaction. One
Yeah.
last question from LinkedIn or no from
Sure,
Google.
sure, sure, sure.
So this is about any books you suggest. About technical or
Yeah,
heady
yeah.
concepts.
Good
Yeah.
that you can share about you love that you can help to get the concepts right and give a larger picture of DSTA landscape. I have read so many books that I kind of do not know. I know the publications that I read them from. Uh, what I would say is because looking at it like this, O'Reilly, O'Reilly Media, they have really nice books, and also if you they'll give you the detailed explanation of every single thing, and that would really help you. You can have books regarding computer vision and everything that you need, even for NLP, transformers, anything you can. But read a lot of books. Don't be dependent upon videos and courses. That's one of the biggest mistakes I think the people make, that they're not reading a lot of books, which is something that I don't like. Whenever I ask someone how many books have you kind of read, based on that, they're like, all right, we are doing a course, this something, we're watching YouTube video. But that is something one of the trainers that I had in Datamites, that's one thing that he suggested, and he also suggested some sites where I could see the research articles, and that was my introduction to more learning about the stuff. So O'Reilly Media Publications are one of the best books that I would suggest. On ML part, if you're sometimes stuck and you want to try out new things, sometimes your model is not working, you're confused, and you want to look into more things. Machine Learning Mastery by Jason Brownlee has a ton of data science books, which I would suggest you read all of them. All of them, read all of them. Those are small books. You can read sometimes the the printing sometimes can be a little here and there. It repeats on multiple pages, but the thing is, the main topics are really easily covered. But you will you will understand as soon as you face more problems. Also, the authors from Russia. Russian authors are amazing in data science and AI. I feel like they're on another different level. Um,
Very true.
yeah, I feel like that's one thing that I
They're
kind
very
of
good in mathematics. Their education has a very strong mathematics. I have a couple of my classmates from Amsterdam who are from Russia,
yeah.
and they always beat me. I mean, I had this ego that I'm always top in mathematics back in India, but when I went in Netherlands studying over there, a couple of my classmates who are from Russia, they are actually much younger to me. They beat me, with a wide margin. So Russians
Mm,
usually have a
you
very
know,
mathematics.
that's what exactly I'm saying. The Russian authors, there's something different in their books. It just gets to the core, and you understand what they're saying. Yeah, probably look into those publications, and any book that you can kind of find regarding data analytics or the processes within. Sometimes it's hard to get. Sometimes it's you have to go there and you have to do it. And maybe I should write a book now about the best practices being a data analyst.
It's a good
uh,
idea. You should do that. All right.
I may. Cool. It's been an hour more.
Yes.
More
Right.
than
Thank you very
yeah.
much for your time.
Cool.
I think we
Cool.
have answered all the questions of the viewers.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone who asked questions and made this session more interactive. And as a last notes, Farzad has made a very good points in terms of working hard is the straight requirement mandatory for getting through either data science or data analyst. And you should be very strong in fundamentals and do a lot of projects and then read books. So these are the key takeaways from my understanding. Farzad, let me know if I missed anything.
No, that's to the point. And do a lot of projects. Do a lot of projects.
Wonderful. So with the takeaways, I thank everyone and special thanks to Farzad for taking time. I wish you all the best in your career moving forward and all the aspirants in pursuing their career dreams. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. You're welcome. All the best, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.